Hello guys and welcome to Beauty by Lovina. And today, I'm gonna teach you this everyday look or no makeup look. First, I use MAC Prep and Prime facial spray on her and add a few drops of Detail Makeover Illuminating Primer Oil to hydrate her skin. And then I just use a large stippling brush from Daily Brushes to blend the oil all over her face. To achieve the glow I wanted, I added few drops of Liquid Strobe by Australis in the shade Gold on her cheekbones, tips of her nose, forehead, and chin, and blended using my fingertips. For foundation, I used the MAC Cosmetics Matchmaster in the shade 1. I used a damp beauty sponge to blend them all in. You might think the foundation is too light for her skin tone. Well, don't worry, I thought so too. But later, we will blend them in and bronze her up to give her some color. For the concealer, I used concealer pots from Suesh Beauty Toolkit. I just can't remember the exact shade, but I mixed the lightest shade with the medium. And I put them under her eyes, the bridge of her nose, on the side of her nose, and on her lids. And blend them with a damp beauty sponge. Make sure to blend them evenly to prevent any crease buildup, especially on the under eye area. For baking, we are going to use the Laura Mercier translucent powder on her under eye area, eyelids, and corners of her nose. You can put as much product as you want, but for me, a little goes a long way with this powder. As you can see, I added some pressure in applying the powder so that the skin would absorb the product and it will prevent it from creasing. I use a flat sponge to pack them evenly. After that, let's dust it off using a large tapered brush. For bronzing and contour, I used the Features and Shades Contour Powder Palette. Since we're doing a light makeup look, I used the medium tone among the three to bronze her up and add color to her skin. I used a very light hand motion in applying the product using a contour brush by Artist Studio. Let's not forget to start bronzing at the end of the hairline of the forehead, next to the side of her cheeks, down to the jawline, creating an imaginary number 3 or vice versa. Next is defining her nose by creating a soft nose line. Using a big blending brush and bronzing powder, apply lightly on both sides of her nose, reaching the inner parts of the eyebrows. To set everything, I apply additional coverage using a thin layer of compact powder by L'Oreal True Match. For blush, I love using this Amazonian clay blusher wheel from Tarte Cosmetics, and I love the combination of the shades Angelic and Skillful. To apply, I mix the two shades and apply them on her cheeks in packing motion. Then, blend it all the way up right under your temples. Start with small amount of product and slowly build it up depending on your preference. By the way, I use a MAC fluffy blush brush on this one. Refrain from smiling while applying the blush. It will only prevent your face from being lifted into a frowny looking face. Just apply the blush in your normal facial state. Now we move on to the eyeshadow. Today, we are going to use the Tevian Amore eyeshadow palette by Albert Kurniawan. For the perfect transition shade, I love using the shade Dolce to give her eyes a bronzing effect. As you can see, I slowly build up the color until I am satisfied. Just make sure that you use a blending brush to prevent any harsh lines. Next to Dolce is the shade Milano from the same eyeshadow palette. I love the peachy vibrant it gives you, and another thing I love about this palette is that it is so pigmented. I start applying the Milano shade from the outer V of her eyes and blend it to the inner corners of her eyes. To add a little spark, I added the shade Stellato to her eyelids to make her eyes pop a little bit. If you want to add more glam on this look, you can use the Stellato shade as highlighter on the tip of your nose or high points of your cheeks. Once you're done with the shimmer shade, don't forget to blend. Again, blend, blend, blend. Yeah. I used the darkest shade on this palette, which is the shade Soul, to create a little drama on her lower eyelids. This is like a dark chocolate kind of color brown, perfect for smoky eye makeup look. Since this is an everyday makeup look, you have an option to skip this part if you don't feel like doing it. Next is applying a brown pencil eyeliner. To be honest, I cannot read the label anymore. I suggest just use a light to medium shade of brown pencil eyeliner that you have to get this look. What I'm sure of is that I bought this from a Korean store. If you notice, the way I apply the eyeliner is from the mid part of her eyelids till I reach the end of her eyelids. That way, I can control my hands from creating a wide line at the inner corner of her eyelids. Let's not forget the waterline. Be gentle as some eyes are so sensitive on this part. They tend to get teary-eyed sometimes, and those tears might ruin the makeup, especially on the eye area. Mascara. I have this Too Faced Damn Girl waterproof mascara, which I find it so good. However, the one that I used on her was the Maybelline Hypercurl waterproof mascara. It's just that I can't find it right now to film, so I use the Too Faced for your reference. I apply it on her upper lashes and lower lashes. Now the brows. I always start by brushing the hair with a spoolie. You can apply the brow soap by this time or after. It depends on you. For the eyebrow product, I love using this LA Girl Brow Pomade in the shade medium brown. This shade complements the skin tone of every Filipina. I start applying on the mid part of her brows so I can create a natural looking brows but lightly defined. I also fill the brows lightly and create a soft arc on her brows. You are free to use any eyebrow products that you have, whether it be a eyebrow pencil, eyebrow powder. Just feel free to experiment variety of products that suits you best. Now to achieve a more relaxed bushy brows, I recommend you to use this Brow Natural from May Roque or any eyebrow soap to achieve a bushy brows look. To clean any fallout and make our brows more clean and defined, I use the concealer pots from Suesh on her brow bone to make it more lifted. I use MAC Flat Concealer Brush. Then, blend it with a dome brush. Let's set the brow bone with the lightest shade on the palette, which is Grazie. I used a small shader brush from Zoeva. This is optional. You can brush it further to achieve the bushy brow effect or leave it as it is. Now on the lips, her lips are so red as you can see on the screen. I just apply a pinkish tinted lip gloss on her by BTLA in the shade Deep Rose to add some complementing colors. I used a disposable lipstick applicator on this one. Don't get too excited in applying large amount of products on your lips. Start with small amount of product and slowly build it up. I usually begin with the lower lip and then check the lip line if it has been fully covered and then move to the upper lip. If you accidentally messed up your application, you can always correct them with a concealer using a flat concealer brush. So there you have it guys. I hope you learned something from this video. If you can try following this tutorial and tag me on your finished photos through my social media accounts available on the description box and leave me a comment down below. Again, a big thanks to Miss Missy Bojos, our Miss Teen Philippines 2019 for Central Luzon for allowing me to do this tutorial, and Ella for hairstyling. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Thank you.